Hey everyone, and welcome to a different sort of video. Today we're going to be underwater like you've never seen before on this channel. Recently I picked up a wetsuit and it was my goal this summer to start diving more. I was going to be heading out with a mate, Gav, and he was going to be showing me the ropes. So sit back and enjoy and watch some of this really awesome diving footage that I got up to on my first dive out. So, since I hadn't done much diving before, we headed into the shallows to do a bit of practice to see how I'd get on. After a few short warm-up dives, Gav called me over because he'd found a crayfish in a hole. As this was one of my targets for the day, get my first cray, I went down into the hole to have a look, and sure enough, there were two feelers poking out.
It's small.
That's my first one.
It's your first one though, bro.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Bro, pretty stoked. A lot of people will get a bit, you're ready to fucking grab a cray.
He looked like the biggest one there, but
Yeah.
that was sweet as.
I think watching all those spearfishing videos helped out a bit there. So I continued on my way around this little pool here. It goes from about 1 to 2 meters down in some places, and I dived down into this little hole to have a look around. And there was not much going on there until I saw a little Kina sitting there, and I pulled it off, and this would be my first Kina I've ever got off the bottom.
Nice, bro.
There's a nice little crack running down this little bit, so I breathed up and dived down into it, and I immediately ran into a red moki and then another one, and it looks like this is a nice little hole that a few red moki are calling home. Out in the middle of this little pool, gets a bit deeper water, so I did a few dives out in this deeper stuff, and coming down on the bottom, I was having a look around for a cray or whatever I could possibly find, and I turned the corner and there's one sitting right there out in the open, just under the rock.
He's sitting right there, wasn't even in a crack.
Yeah.
In?
Well, I don't think that's legal too.
No.
We'll keep going that way, then we'll go back this way.
It was quite surprising to see how shallow some of these crays were and right out in the open. So there's another one just sitting here on the bottom that I found. Just sitting right out in the open on a little crack, but couldn't back up into it, so I got hold of him.
Out in the open.
They are. Female.
This is just our little play.
That's sick. I didn't expect it to be that easy. I thought I was going to be diving into 5-6 to get them.
Oh, I'll take you in here first. We'll you must just go hard, bro.
Yeah, sweet.
See, you know what to do. Just try and find you a buck.
With that warm-up complete, and me surprising both myself and Gav, we headed out a bit deeper to look for some Kina. After a bit of searching for some cleaner water, we stumbled upon this little area in about 4 to 5 meters. I was well within my limits, so I began collecting a few of my first Kina. So coming down on this drop, I decided I wanted to look for a cray in this slightly deeper water. I'd seen a little crack on the way down, so I headed over in that direction, and I was pretty surprised by how deep this hole was. It's a nice triangular crack. There's a moki there, I look down, nothing. There's a cray there, I miss it, come back in, have a grab at it, and actually grab it. While Gav's collecting a few more Kina, I go down for another dive onto this area, see another nice little crack running along the kelp here. And I'm just going to go in and have a nice look. It's a nice little hole, possibly a cray. There's one sitting there, and actually another set of feelers at the top of the roof. I go in for the grab, miss him. He actually goes back further, and I can't reach him and have to bail back to the surface. So it was a pretty epic start, getting 4 crayfish. All of them were a little bit small, but I was more than happy to get a few of them on my first dive. With the kinas all sorted, we headed over to an area for me to start learning how to spearfish. Being pretty comfortable, I started doing a few dives. The water was very murky here, maybe 2 or 3 meters viz at a max, so it's going to be tough to see anything on these dives. So I'm all breathed up now. I'm going to go down for my first really long dive. I'm going to attempt to stay down there for a bit of time. I'm going to go down, sit on the kelp and see what I can see. Plans change a little bit when I see a butterfish coming up above me. The real challenge on this day was going to be learning how to efficiently reload a gun. This was quite the effort for me. I've been taught a couple of times and I was just starting to get the hang of it, but it was still taking me about 5 minutes to load the gun properly. You can see on the bottom just how murky it is. I'm not really able to see much at all here. So Gav decided that we better go head somewhere else so it'd be a bit easier for me to see as a beginner. The next spot we expected to be better, but it wasn't a heap better, probably a few more meters viz. But it was a really fishy spot compared to what we'd been at before. I dove down and there's a bunch of butterfly perch, some mau, lots of things going on, and I take a shot at one of those butterfly perch for a bit of practice and managed to miss it too. So next dive, I'm going to breathe up a little more, just try and get more relaxed and less trying to shoot everything in front of me. I head down and set up shop just off to the side of this crack, grab onto the kelp to keep me nice and stable. A few leather jackets in front of me, tighten up that reel because it was a bit loose. And I have a look around, red moki over there, a few banded wrasse, a nice big marblefish just swimming off into the distance, and a few more leather jackets sitting out in front of me, but nothing really standing out. Another big breathe up and a relax before heading back down to the bottom. I try and be as smooth as possible on the way down to conserve a bit of energy. I'm going to sit back down on top of this rock, grab onto the kelp to keep myself anchored in the current, and have a look around. I do a full 180 thinking there might be something behind me, and I spot a butterfish just kind of cruising there. And I reach out, aim, and make the shot this time. Now, after missing quite a few fish, this made me pretty happy to hit one right in the middle of the body on a bit of a long shot.
Nice, brother.
I saw him as I turned around and like, oh, and he was going away.
Yeah.
Rather than I got him.
Nice.
Oh, that's sweet as.
Everything else is a bonus.
So we're heading back down to the bottom now on the next dive, and I'm going to do a similar thing, just sit on top of the rock and see what's out there. I look up towards the light and I see a couple of leather jackets there, so I decide to have a go at the shot. I have the safety on, but I managed to get the shot away and actually hit it.
Big leather jacket.
Oh, nice, bro.
So we're going to drop back down onto the rock again to have another look around. Just going to drop down onto a similar area. It's pretty hard to see where I need to drop. Just running along this big crack in the rock, and I've got a few fish coming past now, quite a few sweep. And looking at the back here is an uncommon fish for Hawke's Bay, blue mau. I did think about shooting him, but he didn't seem too interested about the spear when I pointed it at him. This dive here was probably the single fishiest one I had the whole time out on this afternoon. Just going to drop back down onto a slightly deeper part of the rock. Going to head down a little bit further, maybe six or so meters. Quite a bouldery section with kelp on the top, and a lot of bait fish sitting there. Lots of different species, and I did have a blue cod come past there, but I'm pretty new to sizing the fish, so I let him pass. Just eyeing up a few of the other fish, and I want to try and shoot one of these butterfly perch. But I missed that one too. So after a good workout on the top of that rock, we decide to move to a different area, a bit shallower, and it looks like we've got a little bit better viz in this area. So I'm just ducking down. Pretty much immediately we were seeing butterfish. I line up on this one, and then I've got two underneath him, and I go for the one at the front, but my spear misses him, and it actually hits the fish behind him. So that was total luck. I managed to hit that one. So I've seen quite a few butterfish just milling around this area. There's one up the front there, just cruising around. And I'm just sitting on the surface, patiently waiting for one to stray a bit close. I come in to line up on this one, look down, and there's one sitting right in the kelp there, and I point blank miss this one. So I try to back off to let the fish rest, and my gun's unloaded and I've got butterfish swirling around all underneath me now. It's like they know that I'm new to this and they're just laughing at me. So, no worries. I'll move on, head down on another dive and just try and sit in the kelp as much as I can. It's quite a bit more current here, and we've got a butterfish coming past. Go for the shot, and he spooks just as I reach out, so no hope to get a line up on that one. Doing my best here, just diving this area gradually, and I almost land on top of a butterfish that dive, almost into the face. I turn around, have a quick look, and I've got one just over my shoulder, so I turn the gun, reach out, think I've got him, and the gun just dips down as I go for the shot, and I completely miss him again by probably 5 centimeters underneath. So this time I'm already down on the bottom, just sitting in the kelp, trying to not move too much, save the energy, looking around, not really much happening at the moment. Banded wrasse there, and I see a butter coming in from a distance. He's coming straight at me right in front of the gun, and I somehow missed that one as well, straight over the top of his head. So having missed a few fish now, I decided to just try and relax, get down there, sit on the bottom nicely, not doing too much, and just try and enjoy it a bit more. I'm getting a little frustrated, and I Just need to take my time a bit more, look around, take in some of the sights. Lots of cool different fish coming in to have a look at me now. Just a few spotties milling around, some sweep just above my head. Lots of them just cruising around above me. And this is what it's all about for me. So this is a pretty nice little gut that I've found here with a little clear patch between the rocks and the kelp. Just going to go down, sit down in the middle of it and have a look at all the fish that are coming through. We've got sweep, a couple of small mau sitting there, red moki, a few marblefish, some banded wrasse, all sorts of stuff. And I'm just waiting for something to poke its head out that I might want to shoot. Another red moki just behind me. And I look out in front of me, I've got a butter coming up and I line it up, but it's just a little bit too far away. As the afternoons got on, my bottom time's getting better and better. I'm staying down on the bottom for 40 plus seconds at a time now, so plenty of time for anything to come in. And after all the frustration, I spot a leather jacket behind me, cruise up to him, put the shaft through him. I do a quick breathe up as he's caught up in the bottom. So I go down and just get that spear free just so I can get him up without any issues. And back up I go.
Keep missing, eh? I've been struggling with the butters, eh?
Okay. Some advice. I've found just sitting behind this reef, and just chill behind the reef, and then you'll see a channel that splits the reef, and you just cruise in there real slowly, and normally I'll get one every time. So just like sit behind that reef and just look for the little channels in between and swim up those just really slowly, nice and low, and I guarantee you
So after a bit more tuition, Gav had a butterfish underneath him just dealing with it, and this big old stingray comes in. I'm just getting reloaded after that leather jacket, and this is a big stingray. He's looking right at us, pretty interested in what's going on. Okay, I'm going to try and take Gav's advice, head down just behind the reef and sit nice and low to the rocks, get the kelp behind me. And I was planning on heading over that rock, but there's a heap of them just sitting to the right of me, so line up on one. He's gone a bit far away now. Take my time, there's one sticking his head out of the kelp and I'll plug him.
Three days.
that's the idea. If you're coming in too high, they all see you. So come in on that angle, hide behind the reef, and then creep up.
So obviously this stingray knows exactly what's going on. Can smell all the fish in the water. It's coming right up to have a look at me, and I've never quite seen a stingray behave like this. Coming right up to look at me. Very, very interested on the food that's on offer. Normally stingrays sort of cruise past, but this one, he was quite happy to be right up close to me. I wasn't obviously too interested in being near his tail, but he seemed to be behaving himself even though he was right up in my face. A very cool experience with a beautiful big animal. Okay, we're going to head down on our final dive now. I've shot a few fish, ticked off a few, and I almost land on another butterfish. Just checking in case the stingray's above my head or something silly. See a few hanging out in the distance. So I'm just going to patiently wait here for something to come in range. Just waiting, see that one that I want. Fire through the kelp and manage to pin him right in the middle of the body.
He's going to try and eat the fish out of my hand.
As soon as I shot the fish, Stingray was coming straight in to have a go.
What do you reckon? All done?
We're trying to look for a crane on the way back. How did you find that advice?
Yeah, oh, there's just more butterfish there than where I've been.
It was pretty low today.
He wants it.
Thankfully, a few scraps from my butterfish float down, and the stingray's attention is distracted for a moment. What a cool experience with one of these big flying pancakes. So we're all done with the spearfishing now. Just going to do a final couple of dives to see if I can fluke a cray to take home. Head down just next to the boat, probably about 5 meters here. Have a look around in the kelp, not seeing much at the moment. Turn my head and I've stumbled into a nice little area. Got a nice crack here I'm going to have a look in, and there's one sitting right there.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Found a hole though.
So I think next time our goal will be a legal crayfish. This one was just a little bit small. Again, just under legal, so there you go. With all that done, jump back on the boat and we've got plenty of fish to take home. So that's about it for today's video. It was a really good day out for a first go at it. Plenty of interesting things seen, new experiences, plenty of fish I haven't really interacted with before. So you'll start seeing a few of these popping up on the channel as we go. Just the odd spearfishing / diving video every now and then. But look out for the next video, because I've got a really good kayak one incoming.